Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juice pumping, boys.
All right, we are live. Detroit Lions,
Yes.
Washington Commanders.
Come on now.
3-game show. Yeah, touchdown sports. Man, we were just downtown. We went downtown. We got checked out. See the vibe for the people. It was electric down there. Representing Crunchtime Sports. Now we are here. Appreciate you all for joining us. Big game today. The opportunity for the Lions to get back to the NFC Championship game, which they did last year. But boys, like this, guys, belt to ass. Everyone's spamming BTA. Drop the BTAs.
Is that what's happening right now
The
in the
people have
chat?
spoken. Screens, Zach, BTA. Let's go. Let's get
I'll
this
tell
thing
you what.
started.
We were downtown, and it was beautiful down there. There are so many people downtown Detroit right now. We were literally just outside of Ford Field. There were hundreds or thousands of people. We ran into some Commander fans, maybe some that are a little too drunk. But hey, I'll tell you what. Ford Field is going to be rocking, boys. Like, it's going to be unbelievable tonight, just based off of what we saw. And we were down there, like, guys, the game's in 2 hours. Think about it. We got down there at 4 o'clock. We were down there 4 hours early, and there were thousands of people already down there. Lines were backed up. Like, it's going to be insane downtown. I'm pumped up. I don't think people realize, and I haven't actually heard this enough, the Detroit Lions are playing for a chance to go to the NFC Championship game tonight.
Yeah.
You win, NFC Championship game at home. That's how big of a deal this is tonight. And I was starting to think, like, all week long, no one's really mentioned that. I haven't heard that anywhere. NFC Championship game's on the line here, boys. To host in Detroit. That is massive. I'm pumped up. And Ford Field, it's going to be jumping.
Well,
boys.
it's going to be jumping with the help of LeAngelo Ball.
No way.
On my
It's
swerve
fucking
and that. What?
That's going to be. I love the song, dude.
mean,
He's done a great job with that song.
He's going to be down there. All right. That's just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
You know, you got LeAngelo, former Detroit Piston. He's gonna
Forgot about all that. Wow.
His Pistons
The
era.
connection.
Yeah, I mean, right now the Chiefs are playing the Texans, close game, but we were downtown, man. There wasn't as many Commanders fans as I probably thought when I went down there. I don't know why I thought there'd be a lot more, which is good. I mean, they're in enemy territory, but
Think about how many Detroit fans that had the money were spamming instantly the second that they won the Week 18 game that they were getting tickets to that game. They didn't care who was coming into town, but that's just going to be a sea of blue. I mean, you think of how well this crowd and this fan base travels at home games in the playoffs. I doubt it'll be 15% of the other team. They can try, maybe they'll get to 15, but 80 to 85% of that crowd's going to be Honolulu blue, without a doubt.
yeah, I mean, and also shout out to Eric and Katie.
Yes.
It's too easy.
It's too easy, baby.
Eric's the man, dude. So appreciate. I mean, those
Every
guys.
time I've gone down there for
show us
pre-games,
love.
we run into them. And some of the most electric people. If you guys go check out their YouTube, they do the vlogs every single week for the Lions games. Some of the best that I've seen. And I watch them every single Monday or Tuesday whenever they come out. I'm always watching them. They're good. I love them. I'm pumped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I mean, this game today, boys, I mean, we talked yesterday, concern level all relatively low. Now it's day of. Okay. Day of. We're here. And Taylor Swift's on the TV now.
With
Caitlin
Caitlin
Clark, of
Gross.
course. Yeah.
Is Caitlin Clark a Chiefs fan all of a sudden?
She knows ball.
But is she a Chiefs fan? I did not know that. Isn't she from
but
Iowa?
that gets her on TV.
I guess maybe people in Iowa would be Kansas City. That kind of makes sense.
That is fair.
That makes
is
sense.
fair.
That area, they don't have
But how-
NFL team.
How are we feeling today? It's the day of. What's anything changed for you? More nervous? What's the vibes for today? I mean, we're an hour and 40 minutes away.
I'll say this. I feel pretty pumped up. I'm pretty confident the Lions go out there and win this game. As we get closer, I said it last night. I said when I was on the show this morning with Caleb and Gentry, I got 3 hours of sleep last night, maybe 4 hours of sleep. And it was just, I cannot stop thinking about this game. It's not like, oh, I think they're going to lose, nothing like that. It's like, hey, no, it is win or go home football going forward. And like we're seeing the Chiefs right now, a team that was supposed to be the number one team in the AFC, and they're in a battle with the Texans. Like anything can happen. And you have to show up every single day, every week in the NFL playoffs, because it's not like it's the college football where you get Boise State versus, a big team. Like, no, these are NFL players that made the playoffs. Like, and they have a playoff win under their belt. So it's like, yeah, I do think they're going to win by 2 scores. Does that mean it's going to happen? No. I mean, it could be a battle. I've listened to some Commanders people. One thing they keep thinking, boys, and it makes sense that they're like, hey, we might not win this game, but if you can stay within 1 possession in the 4th quarter, you have a chance to win this game. And that's, for me, it's like you need to get out early, get out to a big start, a big lead to start the game. So you're not even in that position to where, like a Jaden Daniels, a 1-possession game, he can make a play like that and changes the game. That's how good he is. That's how good he is. So you have to prevent that. You don't put yourself in that situation. I'm confident, though, boys. I don't know about you guys. We said it yesterday. I'm 3 out of 10. Drop it down to 2. I'm a 2 out of 10. Nerves. Confidence-wise, 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not I'm literally more nervous to see who wins the Eagles and Rams game than when it comes to this game that we're about to play with the Detroit Lions. I just don't see a path for the Commanders to win. I truly don't. Like, I think the Commanders, we've seen the rookie quarterback story too many times. If you want to go look at Mark Sanchez in the AFC Championship game or something like that, go for it. But when you look at this Commanders team, they are just simply not better than the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions are coming off a bye week, which they haven't had since week 5, and they vitally need it. Like, you look at the offensive line, it's a veteran group. Frank Ragnow, Graham Glasgow, Taylor Decker, all those guys are up there in age. Kevin Zeitler, who's out, but at least you got that week of rest for Kevin Zeitler. So if you win this game tonight, he's back. So I'm not scared at all. The nerves honestly aren't there. I'm excited, but I think this is going to be a Lions game. Jaden Daniels, even if he keeps it 1 score, if you go back and look at the legitimate teams that the Commanders have played, they haven't hung in there well, and I think the Detroit Lions are the best team that they're going to play all year, coming off a bye week at home in the playoffs. Rookie quarterback Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn. Everything's favoring Detroit, so I really don't see a chance for Washington to win this game. Can they hang in there? Maybe, but even then, I just think the Lions are a level above this team, and I think it's going to be a 2-point or a 2-possession game. I really do.
Yeah, and I think that's the fair way to approach it. I mean, the Lions are the number 1 seed in the NFC. They're the best team in their conference, a top team in the NFL, and you're facing a team that had a great season for them. They won a playoff game. You have a rookie quarterback playing well.
Yep.
They have a lot to look forward to. But if we're being just full transparency, this is BTA. This is belt to ass. It should be, because if you struggle to beat this Commanders team, there's more questions that are going to be raised. And I respect the Commanders, but this is you're the 1 seed. You're going to get the worst seed. And you got, besides the Packers, the next worst, which is the Commanders, with a rookie quarterback at Ford Field, with a top offense in NFL history. I know that in the defense has been playing better, even though I voiced my concerns to you guys earlier, but it doesn't matter at this point. The Commanders are not the Detroit Lions. They're not close. Next, in the future, they're working their way to be. But there's no way in hell, in my mind, this game will be a field goal game, overtime, 4th quarter, both teams in the kind of the 30-point range. No, I have the Lions winning by 10. We'll kind of talk about our score predictions later. But yeah, I'm with you, Klotz, in terms of kind of what to expect. The Lions, if they're that team, which we all believe they are, belt to ass. Yeah, that's what it should be today.
I mean, the Chiefs game is on right now. I mean, we're watching that. It's 13-12. The Texans just missed a field goal, which would have tied it. I think when you look at the Lions game, it's going to be a much different story. I would not be surprised, honestly, if it looks like the Bills and the Broncos wildcard matchup last week. I really wouldn't, just because when you look at the Washington Commanders' weaknesses, that's the Detroit Lions' strength. How are you going to stop this Lions team if you cannot limit because you're not stopping this run game with David Montgomery coming back and Jahmyr Gibbs. He's been in his bag recently. If you can't stop those two, if you can't limit those two, you have zero chance of beating the Detroit Lions unless Jared Goff is throwing 5 picks, but he's not doing that again the rest of his career. So give me the Lions, and it's probably going to be in a big game.
Yeah, I mean, guys, I'm looking at this, and I see comments kind of coming in here. Let's see. Nick says, Lions haven't faced a dynamic quarterback like this. Yeah, they have. Not as elusive with his legs, but they faced Josh Allen, and he put up 40-plus points, and that was a game where the Lions defense looked atrocious. Yep. Awful. Atrocious. Excuse me. Not atrocious. I do that a lot. Atrocious. Yeah, I always switch it up. Atrocious. But guess what? that was a game where the defense played their worst game all year, and they're coming off their best performance all year. Do I expect to see exactly what we saw against the Vikings? Personally, no. But if they can even get close to that, they're still going to win by 2 scores.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just as simple as that.
You have to be able to go out there. Like I think the biggest key to this game, it's like, dude, you're sitting there at home. The home field advantage, I don't think people realize, like, especially Commanders fans. Like, I know they're like, hey, we might lose. But that, like, the home field, Ford Field, it is going to be insane.
Yeah.
And yes, you had a playoff game last year. That was nuts. And it was the first playoff win that you had. So yes, the city is going to go crazy for it. You have a chance to literally clinch an NFC to go to the NFC Championship game in Detroit. I don't think, like, that is such a big deal. And I think, like, these guys defensively, it's going to be big. Like, I hope AG has these guys ready. And you know what? Mm-hmm. And I think AG knows it too. Like, he's going to be a head coach next year, and he's trying to show more things off. I know he's probably already going to be a head coach, but when you do look at it, he still has to, like, show the people what he can do. Mm-hmm. There's still that side of things to where it's like, hey, it's not a done deal yet. It is, but it isn't. And you want to be able to showcase what you're going to do as a head coach. So I think AG is going to have an absolute insane game plan today versus Jaden Daniels versus them. Listen, gotta be honest with you guys, boys. Like, Jaden Daniels is going to get his, right?
At least on the ground.
He's going to get his. And it's like, okay, how do you, I've been saying it all week. Like, how do you take that and how do you find ways to stop, like, not stop it, but slow it down to where he only gets 50 or 60 yards and it doesn't hurt you? That's I think the key to the game tonight.
Yeah, it's in something I've been hammering all week. It's not getting the yards; it's when he gets them. Right? It's in the red zone. It's 3rd down, 4th down, because this team's going to be aggressive. They're going to go for it a lot on 4th down. But for AG, it's really about what does this team look like in the red zone? The Lions' defense can you get back to kind of what you've hung your hat on all year, which has been, except for a stretch of games, which has been a very good red zone defense. You can't allow the Commanders to get confident here. I mean, Zach Ertz, Terry McLaurin. That's 2 of Jane Daniels' favorite red zone targets. And he's got his legs, of course. So if the Lions defense can just force and letting these guys score is one thing, but forcing field goals, they're going to score a ton of points. But if you can win that battle where you're forcing the Commanders to kick field goals, or not allowing them to do anything, maybe they hold them straight up on 4th down and they don't get anything. They have to find ways to do that because, like you said, the yards are going to be there. It's what they do in the red zone. And it's bend, don't break, although I hate that. I do, but it's where the Lions are at, and they've shown last year they can do it. So this is what you got to do. And honestly, bend, don't break should be no problems against this team. I mean, seriously.
I know you don't like the bend, don't break. I understand that.
I just don't like it against top teams. I mean,
but even versus
the Commanders
top teams, when you look at that,
them.
Jeff, though, like, I know you're thinking about the Eagles and the Bills and these teams. Listen, like, the bend, don't break, typically, it's not what you want to do. But when you have the best offense in the NFL and you have a top 5 offense of all time, you can
hang with teams.
You can have
offense.
that, and you can win. You're going to win games because of that, because you have the offense. Because the bend, don't break. You know what it is, Jeff? It's taking field goals, right? Like, hey, take the field goals, take the points. If you have an offense that's putting 30 plus up a game, a bend, don't break defense is still not giving over 30 points up a game. It's not happening. Like, they're not giving 30 points up tonight versus the Commanders. No. They will not.
And if you look back at that Buccaneers defense they just played, like, honestly, that defense right now over the last month is probably worse than the Detroit Lions. And the Commanders were struggling to put points up against them, especially in the red zone. So you look at the momentum that the Detroit Lions defense just picked up after what they did against Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell, and that offense that they have in Minnesota. And what did we talk about? Like, we kind of disagreed about it, but when you get that tape on Sam Darnold, like, it's going to be easy to beat him. And Aaron Glenn put out that blueprint. So I can promise you, against a rookie quarterback, if there's going to be a guy that can kind of rattle Jaden Daniels and make him look like a rookie, make him uncomfortable, to your point, Boone, maybe not throughout the whole game. It's hard to just stop Jaden Daniels, but on 3rd downs, on 4th downs, make him overthink and make him look like a rookie. It's going to be Aaron Glenn. So I have confidence that Jaden Daniels could get 50, 60 yards, even more on the ground, but even through the air, like, you honestly just have to limit Terry McLaurin. Let Zach Ertz beat you. Let Olamide Zaccheaus and Diami Brown, let those guys beat you, because those guys are not keeping up with the Detroit Lions. If Terry McLaurin's now going for $125, $150 and a touchdown, then the Commanders are going to hang around and be in that 1-score game situation. But the way that this secondary has looked, even with the injuries, I don't see that happening. You got an all-pro safety in Kirby Joseph and a should-be all-pro, but he's a Pro Bowl safety in Brian Branch. You don't get better than that around the NFL. Terrion Arnold coming back. I think the Lions defense, they match up pretty well with this Commanders offense.
Yeah, what you're not looking to do. I mean, we're watching the Chiefs game. Like they're the number 1 seed, defending champs, and they're letting the Texans hang in this game. I mean, it's 13-12. Like that's. But the Chiefs' offense we've seen all year, not the Lions' offense. All right, now it's really what I'm focused on tonight. We'll talk more about both sides of the ball, but to me, eyes for me tonight are on the defense. That's what the offense is going to get 30 points. Okay, it's how many points do the Lions allow today, and I don't think they're going to allow 30. But that's really where if you're talking about keys to victory, I would think a majority of the keys would probably be on defense. You can't turn the ball over, stuff like that on offense. But it's what does this defense look like on third down? And they're being one of the best third down defenses in the league.
Just kind of
get off the field, man.
To play devil's advocate here, though, but why not the offense? Because we instantly assume Lions are going to put up 30, Lions put up 30, they win. So why is it not more on the offense? Not saying that you're not saying the offense isn't important, but I think in this game, defensively, like just figure it out. But it's all on the offense because if defense, even if you're not figuring it out, that offense for Washington's not keeping up. You know what I mean? So I do think that this game on the offense, you start out quick, game's over. You kind of start out sluggish. You got the bye week's rest. You kind of not shaking off rust, but you're finding the flow. In my opinion, I think it's more on the offense tonight because Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, great. That's not Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs. So if this offense just keeps performing at the level that it has been, we're automatically thinking that they will. But if they don't, that's when I think it's a close game.
I have it as almost to me. It's almost like I'm not looking at it. I'm looking at it. I'm kind of foreshadowing. Like to me, I want to see the defense today to see. Okay, what is this going to look like moving forward? Because you're going to face better teams moving forward. So it's like a litmus test. I don't want to act like it's all on the defense today. But it is for me. It's a measuring stick. Like you're facing the Commanders, which is the worst team you're going to face in the playoffs.
Right.
So how does the defense look like today? Because if they don't look great.
Let's relax a little bit.
Honestly, I didn't even do that. But if they don't look great today, then we can have a conversation. That's what I mean, really. It's like a measuring stick for me. It's like, we talked about it, right? Jaden Daniels.
This guy.
You think they're more important down the stretch?
Yeah, it's like what I mentioned to you guys. It's like you got Jaden Daniels, mobile quarterback. You'll get Jalen Hurts, mobile quarterback, and then in the Super Bowl, you'll probably get another mobile quarterback. Okay. And they'll be better teams. So to me, it's a litmus test, measuring stick, if you will.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I mean, you do want to know what the defense can do. I think like versus Minnesota, you got I think the biggest thing too defensively, and everyone's been talking about it, is Alex Anzalone. Like that return of him. And I brought the stats last week before his return of the third downs and the conversions on fourth downs, getting stops in the red zone. Like what were teams in the red zone when Anzo wasn't there? And there was like a drastic change. When Alex Anzalone was playing before he got hurt, you were getting you were one of the best teams in the NFL in the red zone efficiency. And then as soon as he goes down, you're one of the worst. And then he comes back versus Minnesota and they couldn't score in the red zone. So I think there is a sense of hey, you now have this guy back. Jeff, I am with you. It's to see it for a second week, but I'm still confident. I'm very confident because this defense, this is where I think there is a sense where they do deserve a little bit of credit because there has been majority games. There have been some bad games. I would say there's more games than not. They have gone out there and got stops and got the job done. So it's you've seen it. I think the question mark, instead of saying I want to see from the defense as a whole, I think it should just be one thing under want to see it versus Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, and I think
that's it. I don't think it should be as a whole. I think it should be versus a mobile, not even mobile, a running quarterback, because you're going to have to do that in the Super Bowl.
But if I'm being honest, and I'll add this too, it's Jaden Daniels, but I also want to see the run defense today because I think they'll be great. But again, I want to see what type of run defense you're kind of getting because, again, it's not just Jaden Daniels you're getting better. You're going to get Saquon. You'll get James Cook again, potentially, or Derrick Henry in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs, I respect that.
Mahomes. You're getting Mahomes.
But still, it's also, I'll say this, to add to your point, Boone, it's Jaden Daniels, but I want to see this run defense.
I could say that, and that's where I get to the point where it's
parts
there's
of the defense.
Levels to it.
Yeah, I'm looking at that.
I want to see the corners. I want to see Evangel's still healthy. I want to see the safeties. I want to see Brian Branch.
That's where I'm at.
But you have to be able to pick and choose and say, what's the one thing? All year long, that defense has been stout. They've been in most games. They've stepped up. The run game's been good. There's a small sample size of that run defense giving stuff up. The last week they played with Anzo back, and now that he's back, when Anzo's playing, that run defense is completely different. It's completely different. So you could see it, but I think it's Never mind.
Here's the thing, though, boys.
Travis
what?
Kelsey's going nuts.
Yeah, he is.
Playoff Kelsey.
I would say you're expecting that. But the thing is with this offense, too, and that's why I kind of brought up the point I did like a couple minutes ago, Jeff. When you have this offense operating at an elite level where they're putting up 30 every game, like let's say the Detroit Lions end of the first quarter, it's 14-0. What are the Commanders forced to do? Throw the ball.
Yeah.
So, and Jeff, I'm not saying what you're saying about the defense is wrong, but for me, I want to see if this offense can take it up to another notch, because now what do we see in playoffs right now? We see the Chiefs offense on this drive currently, they're turning it up. Travis Kelce, 100+ yard game. It's a close game, but Mahomes is looking like Mahomes. This is the Chiefs you're used to seeing. We need to see the Detroit Lions take it up another level, because every team is around the league. Offensively, it's like, well, how can you do that? Convert. What's the last word, Boone?
Convert.
Come on now. That's what you got to be able to do, because if you're able to make this Washington offense with Jaden Daniels one-dimensional throwing the ball, you can have a chance, especially next week against Philly and Saquon, because if you make Jalen Hurts sit back there in the pocket and try to kill you, Detroit Lions are winning that game, because you even look at Saquon's receiving numbers this year, it's nothing crazy. Like, yeah, New York, he was catching a ton of passes, but because they had to. That was the only guy that they have. Mm-hmm. Let Jalen Hurts sit in that pocket and throw the ball to A.J. Brown. Let him not throw it to A.J. Brown and see what happens on the sideline in the NFC Championship game. He's probably pulling out a book. So if you're able to do that, that's what I look at. If this offense can by itself make this Washington offense one-dimensional, where you don't even put that pressure on the defense. Aaron Glenn knows, hey, we're going to see Jaden Daniels drop back more than he wants to tonight. Win. Do the same thing to Jalen Hurts next week. Do the same thing to Josh Allen. Do this to the rest of the playoffs, and I think the Lions will be hosting that Lombardi if they can.
You got nothing to add to that, or
no? I mean,
I'll respond to it. I mean,
he was talking to you. I thought.
No, I was bringing up Jeff's point.
A good point. Yeah, I mean,
great point, brother.
Yeah, for me, and that's the thing I want to make clear. It's just measuring stick. That's all it is for me. And I know you said it's one thing, but to me, it's not just one. I'm looking at a couple things. That's all. It's good. It's you're planning for the future. You're scouting a little bit.
Yeah,
I want to see what I get today. Yeah, the offense matters, of course, and you're going to score a bunch of points, and that stuff is great. But at some point, you're going to need this defense to win a Super Bowl. At some point, you're going to.
They're going to need to
get some stops.
And I am. I'll just be honest. I'm confident they will.
Yeah,
I will, because majority of the time this season, with all the injuries, they have found ways to step up when needed. Like that Texans game, Travis Kelce touchdown. That Texans game, which we're watching the Texans right now, who in the second half stepped up. You had, I know Carlton Davis was the one making the plays and he's not playing, but you've had that defense step up in big spots. Like, I know Josh Allen, that was such a bad game, but guess what? Anzo's back, and we see in Minnesota, hey, one of the biggest game of the year to date was the Minnesota Vikings game, and guess what? The defense
showed up.
Yeah,
and it's like, I feel like we've had a bigger sample size throughout the season of in big moments, the defense has stepped up. And I think that's like a positive to go into a game like tonight, to go into the NFC Championship game if you get there, the Super Bowl if you get there, to where it's like they can. Now, are they going to give stuff up, Jeff? 100%. Like, there are weaknesses, there are holes. But I do have confidence that they're able to make plays, and I think it starts with Aaron Glenn. Like, Aaron Glenn knows, hey, these are where our holes are. These are the players that are players that we need to use to our advantage.
Yeah.
Brian Branches, Kirby Josephs, Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell's, Za'Darius Smith, and we have to find a way to use those guys to counteract and help out the other guys like Levi Jack Campbell, Terrion Arnold, those types of guys. And it's like you have to find a way to do that. And I think AG has done a great job doing it all year long. And there has been slip-ups, and those slip-ups are straight just because, guess what? You have 20-something guys on the IR. And it's like, I keep using that as an excuse, but it's like, no, that's true. And when you get to the playoffs last week, and this is where I thought maybe you would come along a little bit more with the defense after seeing last week, because week after week after week, it was like, hey, we need them to step up, need them to step up, need them to step up. They stepped up. And it's like, okay, now we know what they can do. Now, to your point, Jeff, you have to hold them to a higher standard. We know what you guys can do now. Now you need to do that week after week. We know what this defense is capable of. You know it.
Yeah, and this is where it's hard for me. Okay.
Oh no.
And I want to, guys. This is, and we got to have a real conversation here, because
we're having one.
And I don't want this to be, Jeff hates the defense, he hates the defense, but I'm just being real here.
You're not an AG fan.
It's like I'm trying to think of an example here that wouldn't offend people. It would be like, because it's only it's like a 4 or 5 week span. Okay, so it's not like this defense has just been awful.
A
4-week,
5-week span of them being bad, I would say, throughout the whole season. A whole 17-game
but here's
schedule,
the thing,
I think 4 weeks have been like, that's tough defense.
Yes, and
So majority
I
of the
think the
season
worst
they've been good.
performances, the only negative of it is it's come recently before the Vikings. Like, it's not like week 5, 6, 7 they were bad, and then week 8 to now they were great. Like, it's recent, which that's what to people that bring up the Anzalone effect, which I do believe is true. I just want to see it again. The Anzalone effect. I want to see it tonight. Like, maybe their defense, maybe the stretch of games where they gave up 120 points in 4 games is gone.
Yeah.
Maybe that's completely gone, and this conversation's irrelevant. That's what I want to see tonight. It's like, can we get somewhat performance of that Vikings game? And Boone, if we get it tonight, hell yeah. On Monday, I'm going to go, you know what?
So you're going to take a step closer then.
Yeah,
I won't have to hear you say,
I mean, at the end
I don't think they can do it.
I'll be more confident. But I'd be lying if I told you the Commanders are the Chiefs of the Bills.
I'll say this, and I respect
They
you
are.
and
I
love
mean,
you because you're honest
they're
about
the
it,
6th
to be
seed.
honest.
I mean, I can't say they're going to beat the Bills off today.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
I respect it because you're very consistent over the last few weeks with the Lions defense and the Philadelphia Eagles. I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect
don't think
it.
the Eagles.
I respect your commitment to the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's well, I'm not. I don't think the Eagles are world beaters, but I think
You won't stop talking about them to me.
I don't think the Eagles are. I don't think the Eagles are
say.
world beaters, but I think the Eagles. I want to see the matchup. I do. I like. Part of me wants them to beat the Rams so we can just see it. I want to see the Lions in the Eagles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, I want to see it.
I think either way, I said it today. I think either matchup is going to be, if the Lions win, knock on wood, would get the win. I think no matter what happens, if you play the Rams or the Eagles, it is an electric NFC Championship game.
Give me the Eagles.
Eagles
please.
or Stafford is insane.
Keep Stafford. Keep that offense away. We've seen the movie 2 times. I don't need to see a third for a possible bad ending, in my opinion. I've seen enough. We haven't seen the Eagles and the Lions match up in a big game, I would say, ever. Maybe the Thanksgiving game where Calvin went crazy, but that was a bad game for Philly. Philly was terrible at that time. So to see finally like a big game with huge stakes on the line between the Eagles and the Lions, give me that every time. I've seen the Stafford story. That's cute. I honestly think that the Rams, personnel-wise, cause more issues for the Lions. So give me the Eagles. Give me Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown reading his book. Give me that over the L.A. Rams right now. I think the Eagles definitely have a shot at winning. I picked the Rams. But if the Eagles win, I will be much happier with that situation.
Yeah, I've already seen the Matthew and Detroit storyline. Maybe in the NFC Championship game it would be electric. It would be even more electric. But I do. As a fan of the sport, I'm a fan of the Lions, but I'm a fan of the sport. I want to see Lions Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
All the Eagles fans talking, Lions fans talking. It just feels like it just has to happen. They haven't played. It's like it'd be some fresh blood.
Yeah.
I think it'd be and it's in Detroit, which helps tremendously. You don't have to play in bad weather outside, which just stinks.
Shout out Vincent E. He said, "Give me the Eagles or the Rams."
I mean, you're gonna get one of them. Yeah, it's the odds are in your favor for that, Vincent.
Yeah, no. I mean, the Lions should beat. I mean, the number 1 seed. You're favored to win the Super Bowl, but for storyline purposes, both are going to be great. I want. What?
There's a $5 value meal for McDonald's on the TV right now, and Boone's barking at it. Boone wants a $5 McValue meal.
Play the
right
Dan
now.
Campbell Applebee's commercial.
We should get some Applebee's tonight.
This is the thing with Applebee's for me. I am like a diehard Chili's supporter.
Chili's is
Wow.
great.
Chili's
used to go to Chili's in college all the time. Shout out the boys.
Chili's is superior, and I look at Applebee's. I look at you want to be Chili's so bad, and you're offering these wild wing deals for mid wings. I couldn't tell you that, but I know who's going to last.
Know who wants
and it's
to be
going to be Chili's.
They're both going to last.
You triple dipper over whatever.
Never had the triple dipper.
Oh, Boone, if you've been to Chili's, you never had the triple dipper. You're missing out on the best part of Chili's.
It's tough. Hey, look who just got cooked on the screen. Who was that?
Aziz, my guy Aziz.
Chiefs are going to cover.
That's tough. Oh no.
I had him. Hey, before this drive started too, I had Mahomes
Texans
for a touchdown, Travis Kelce going over his yards. So I took Chiefs money line because it was at minus 100.
Dave in the D just said Saquon will go for 200 against the Rams. I think he means the Rams, unless he's talking about the Lions.
He cooked them the first week, and I would be surprised. If you're Philadelphia, hand the ball to Saquon.
Oh, he's going to run all over him.
5-yard loss after you hand the ball to Saquon, hand the ball to Saquon. Let A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, let him get open situationally. You signed Saquon Barkley for a reason.
Yeah.
He is a generational talent. Could you imagine if he wasn't with the Giants for the first part of his career and he's with, it doesn't have to be the Eagles, if he was with somewhere like the Houston Texans or somewhere where he could have had a little bit more success? Like, if he was there, this guy would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. You sign that guy, now use him, because he's going to be the one to lead you to a Super Bowl. Not Jalen Hurts, not that defense. That defense looks great statistically, and against bad offenses, it's going to dominate them. But if you put that Philadelphia Eagles defense against this Detroit Lions offense, I'm taking the Lions offense. So one thing the Eagles have over the rest of the league is they have the best offensive player. The single number one. Take any wide receiver, take any running back, take any tight end, any of them. Saquon Barkley is the best offensive player in football. So abuse his workload and just run the wheels off him, like Jeff says. Don't do that with Jahmyr Gibbs. You got David.
What did Tom say? Shout out Tom Grossi, by the way, joined the program.
Yeah.
He talked about it. Very obvious, but he's so right. How do you beat the Eagles? You got to slow down Saquon. That's the engine. He's the cog in the engine. That's why this run defense, man, you got to have. It's going to be on the run defense of this playoffs. The secondary forcing offenses to be one dimensional. I mean, that's truly what it's going to have to be here. And the Eagles are going to rely heavily on Saquon, when they face the Lions, especially. Yeah. But
it sucks.
That's what's going to matter. Even today, like Brian Robinson Jr. He's nowhere close to Saquon, but he's a solid back. Like it's a good little test for him.
He's like a Detroit minus the touchdown record Jamal Williams. Like he's not ripping a big run off for you. You give him inside the 5, he might be able to get you a touchdown, but I like Jaden Daniels will have more yards than Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
And speaking of the Saquon thing, the thing that just hurts even more is you guys remember that game that Aleem McNeil had against Saquon in New York, where he had like 9 tackles for losses? Like that was a game where you're like, okay, Aleem McNeil is a legit guy, and he was just a monster. The fact he won't be there this year sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
Aleem would be huge for this playoff run. I mean, obviously Aiden Hurts, but Aleem does as well. Oh, my God.
I'm interested, though, to see, and I don't know where you guys are at with this, and if your guys' mind and kind of thought process has changed over the last 24 hours with it. David Montgomery, I'm interested to see his workload today. Like, I think, like, I'm very pumped up to see what David Montgomery does. I'll just tell the people, no, I didn't throw him in any bets or anything.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But I'm going to let that one go and just sit back on that and let it happen. Whatever happens, happens. Actually, I did throw him in a bet. I put him in a parlay for a touchdown.
Okay, I like yardage. I'd be a little bit. Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen.
Him and Jahmyr, I think, both get in the end zone today. I do think they both do.
I see Keith. Appreciate the $5, Keith. He says, in the regular season, the Lions defense with Anzo gave up 321.5 yards per game, 10th, 16.9 points per game. First, without Anzo, the Lions gave up 380.
Yeah. It was a big difference.
30th, 26 points per game, 29th.
It's such a big difference with Anzo in the lineup. It changes
I'm excited
everything.
to see it today.
And that's that run defense. You said, okay, you're like, hey, the worst games defensively that they've had are right before the Vikings. That stretch of football was
Anzo.
That was the worst. And guess what? There's no Alex Anzalone. And it's like, well, one guy can't change that. Yeah, when he's your captain, he's the heart of your defense. He's the green dot. He's the guy that makes all the changes, all the adjustments, all the audibles. Like when you have that guy out, that's a big deal. But the Eagles, you know who does that for them? Nakobe Dean.
Yeah.
And guess who's out for them?
Gone for him.
Nakobe Dean. And that's where it's like, to me, I think like people don't realize it that much in the defense. Like you can have all the players you want, but there is that heart of the defense typically, and it's the green dot guy, and he's the one calling the plays and the audibles. And when you have a guy that's as experienced as Alex Anzalone, it changes a lot. Those stats, that's eye-opening right there.
Especially, I mean, we talk about
in the NFL.
You look at the red zone. Like, think about when you're inside the 20, you're not throwing it deep. So the over the middle, the shallow crossers, the run game is so much more heavily used. And if you miss the guy that, without a doubt, out of the linebacker, love Jack Campbell. Like, I think Jack Campbell's going to go to be a Pro Bowl or potential All-Pro.
He's going to get to that level.
He's going to get there. But right now, the best run to support you got outside of that defensive line is Alex Anzalone. He is everywhere. He's a madman with his head cut off, making tackles at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to match up on tight ends and give him good pass coverage. So he's what I think that red zone defense starts with, because if you can just run right up the middle, it's cooked. And you see with last week, the Buffalo Bills went back to it where when they had no Anzo, they were hitting Ty Johnson on angle routes. They're throwing it all over the middle of the field. The 49ers, George Kittle is wide open so many times. Alex Anzalone's there George Kittle might be having a good day, but he's not clearing 100 yards. I think he'd probably get 60, 70, but Anzo's making a play on a couple of them. You look at the Vikings, what TJ Hawkinson, 2 catches, 9 yards, and he got targeted a couple of times. So, I see what you're saying, Jeff, but I think Anzo, he's not going to make a huge point where it's like, oh, now this defense is elite. Like, Anzo returns. But Anzo, I think it helps in more ways than people will give it recognition for, just because he's not a Fred Warner. He's not a Roquan Smith. He's Alex Anzalone. But when you watch Alex Anzalone, you're like, okay, this dude's a good damn linebacker. And he's like a direct extension of Aaron Glenn. I mean, he's been with Aaron Glenn since New Orleans, comes here with them. They re-sign him. Guys like me are upset they re-sign him, and look at him now. He's one of the better defensive players for this team.
Yeah, I see this comment. Norman, shout out to Norman, by the way. He says, I want to see if he have a great game tonight.
Literally just pulled up his stats, looking at what he did in the playoffs last year.
Iffy or Anzo?
Iffy.
2 sacks in the playoffs, 16 tackles.
Had a sack and a half against the Bucs.
Yeah, I mean, Iffy Malafont, 9 tackles in that game, and there's stats on here that you don't even see that he probably had in the book, probably like pressures and stuff. I'm excited to see Iffy, because Iffy, like the last couple weeks,
he can chase Jaden around.
Yes,
that dude.
And you know what they do with Iffy too is they're gonna send Iffy, and they're gonna have him in spots to probably be like, hey, put him in a position to get Jaden Daniels. I know they don't do like spies or anything. I think Iffy Malafont was going to be that guy when he's out there.
Somebody.
He's going to be, he's bringing pressure, and it's like he's going to wreak havoc. And I'm excited to see what he does. That, like, listen, if he was hurt, and Jeff, that's another one to me. Like, yeah, Anzo out too. If he was out during that stretch, if he was out, I think adding Anzo and Iffy back is like that's what this defense needed. You're down all these big stars with Hutch. You're down key players, Davenport. It's like, all right. We just got Iffy and Anzo back. We're ready to roll now. Yeah. And I know it's not like, oh my gosh, Pro Bowlers are all pro players, but like, dude, they're like those are big time players who are going to make big time plays in big time moments. You need that defensively.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, like the game plan that AG had against the Vikings, like with kind of working with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. You're going to find you're going to be working against AJ Brown and Devonta Smith. And then in the Super Bowl, depending on who you get, it could be kind of similar with other wide receivers or running backs. So, and they did a good job against Aaron Jones. So this like defense, I think today, those players we brought up, Iffy, Anzalone, expect them to have a pretty big impact on this. I would mention this too, a player I want to bring up, Brian Branch, talked a lot about him this week.
Yeah.
I think he's due, man. He's due. Playoff Brian Branch, got a week off. He was struggling, went through kind of a stretch of games where he didn't quite look like Brian Branch. He hold him to such a high standard. He probably does himself as well.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just looked pedestrian, which is not Brian Branch. And then he was snubbed from the All-Pro. You have a bye week. He gets to get healthy. And now I think this matchup, guys, I've been hammering it. It's perfect for him. He is going to go out there and make plays in the run game, in the pass game, making Jaden Daniels' life hard. That's a guy today, if I'm a Lions fan, I'm keeping my eye on Brian Branch.
Yeah, I mean, he is the best defensive player on this team. I know we just talked about Anzo, but I said he's one of the better defensive players. Anzo's probably number 2. Brian Branch, without a doubt, is number 1. This guy should have been an All-Pro. We were all talking about it before the season. We wouldn't be surprised if he is. And the stretch that he had for probably like the first 13, 14 games was the best overall safety in football. Kirby Joseph is very good. Kirby Joseph is elite. But Brian Branch is the best safety on this team. He's the best player with Aiden Hutchinson out. Yep. What he can do, like you said, Jeff, about limiting Jaden Daniels in the run game, because what makes Brian Branch so valuable is how smart he is for being in year 2, how disciplined he is. When we watched that week 1 game and Brian Branch is missing tackles against the Rams, we were all like, what the hell is going on? Because we know what Brian Branch is. But matching up with Zach Ertz, matching up with Terry McLaurin if they throw him in the slot, because we're going to see a lot of Branch at the nickel spot, setting the edge against the run. They love running RPOs. That's like the most dangerous thing that Washington does. They get in the hurry-up offense, and they'll RPO you to death because that's 3 plays in 1. Brian Branch is going to be their key, the guy that they're reading a lot of that time. So this Washington offense is probably going to go, hey, Brian Branch is your best player. We're going to play off of him. We're going to see what side he's on. We're going to try to go the other way. Or if we run right at him, we know he's got a high chance of making a play, so we're going to put him in an option and just see what he does and react off of it. If he can disguise what he does best, which is what he does best, I think this Lions defense definitely has a chance at turnovers, because even if Brian Branch isn't directly getting the interception, the fumble recovery, he's going to have a huge impact on that play. So like you said, Jeff, he is probably defensively, if you're not going to go Anzo, I think Brian Branch, X factor of this game on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he's had a couple weeks too, where he didn't play bad. It just wasn't like the ceiling we know Brian Branch could play at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like if he plays at that level in the playoffs, and I would think that him getting snubbed from the Pro Bowl or no, All-Pro team, right?
Yeah.
All-Pro team, him getting snubbed from the All-Pro team, you know that he's got a little chip on his shoulder. Like those guys have that, and I'm with you, Klotz. I think Brian Branch is going to have a game. I think I'm not betting an interception score. I always only do it when I have a good feeling. But if I did have a feeling today, I know Kirby's always the fun answer and the right answer typically. I think Brian Branch might get back on the board.
He's going to get a sack today, I bet. Because in that playoff run, Brian Branch had a sack.
Oh, that's what I was looking
And when you look at Jaden Daniels, like how elusive he is, we've seen, and I think Iffy can definitely get home tonight, but I mean, I know it was his first game back, but even this year, Iffy beeline at the quarterback steps up, Iffy over pursues a little bit. I believe it was Caleb Williams. When Brian Branch gets his hands on the quarterback, they're not going anywhere. He comes down and he might even force a fumble. I remember against the Buccaneers in the divisional round, Brian Branch stonewalled Baker Mayfield.
Yep.
If you can do that, especially early against a guy like Jaden Daniels, Brian Branch is the guy that can really light the switch under this defense because he's so multifaceted.
He'll get this thing going.
Is there any other players besides Brian? We talked about Iffy, Anzalone. We're going to move on to offense, but anyone you want to bring up that you feel like we've missed out on?
I was going to say the last thing. I just think defensive line. I've been
anyone
on that,
specifically you're looking
I've been on that
today?
all week. I like Zadarius Smith. I think we know what we're going to get out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And if he plays at his level, we know we're going to get. I just think it's those like secondary guys like Levi O, Josh Pascal, like those guys. I said it yesterday. Like they're on like essentially like they're playing for more contracts and more money. And it's like this is go or go. This is like win or go home. And it's make a play or you're not playing anymore. And I think those two guys know it. And Levi O in the offseason, he has switched and he has been extremely good. Josh Pascal last postseason, he was very good. And I think those guys know it, and they're going to, at least me, I'm looking to see if they step up. Because I think if those two guys step up, that changes everything on the defensive line. Because you have Al-Quadin Muhammad, you know what you're getting out of him. You know what you're getting out of DJ Reader, Zadarius Smith. Those are the two guys you're looking at, and you're like, hey, what am I going to get out of you guys this postseason? And if they show right away, hey, I don't even care again. I said it before. Don't care if you get a sack or not.
Yep.
Make a difference, though. Stay in your lanes there. Like, don't let Jaden Daniels get out of the pocket. Make plays. Like, that's all you need out of them. That's it.
Well, I understand the D-line's important. I understand it's what the Lions need. But you know what else they need? They need an interception. And you know what's going to be tonight, Boone? And I know you hate hearing it.
I know. I mean, I've heard it all year.
Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold is the underlying story of this game because you saw what Amik Robertson did last week against Justin Jefferson, and you look at those Jordan Addison, the playmakers they have.
Yep.
When you look at Terrion coming off an injury, a rookie, the performance that Amik had, you bet your ass that Jaden Daniels, a rookie, is going to go after the rookie. And when you look at where they play college boys, I brought it up yesterday on the show, Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal Heisman season, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. One of those interceptions was from the only Terrion Arnold. So he knows what Jaden Daniels is about. And the guys he was covered in that game, Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors. Now you're going to have Terry McLaurin situationally because I don't think they're going to have a Meek shadow Terry McLaurin. When Terry McLaurin is one-on-one with Terrion Arnold and he's running deep, guess where Jaden Daniels is going to throw the ball? Towards Terry McLaurin. So I think if you look at it, especially size-wise, Terrion, there hasn't been many plays where he has just been cooked. I don't remember the one against the Buccaneers with Chris Godwin wheeling up the sideline, maybe, but that's zone coverage. Man-to-man, I cannot recall a time where Terrion just been cooked. So I don't expect him to be out of position when they throw that deep ball to Terry McLaurin, and he's going to come down with one tonight, Boone. We had Brian Branch, the rookie last year, week 1, opening the season, pick 6 on Patrick Mahomes. To open the playoffs this year, Boone, we're going to get a Terrion Arnold interception. It's like plus 750 right now. Go pick it up. But I have faith in Terrion to step up tonight because I think that's a huge factor. Limit Terry, shut down Zacchaeus, shut down Brown. I think those 2 assignments he definitely will be able to handle. Terry's the question mark, but they're going to target him a lot. So I think he's going to make a play tonight.
Love it.
Yeah, I will bring this up because, I mean, we talked a lot about the defense and, you know, we got about an hour left. I want to focus on more offense. We got Booner's bets later. We'll give our score predictions later. But for the offense today, boys, Dave Montgomery, he's back. He's playing. He looked good. Shout out to the doc. Got some videos for the boys. We played it on the show this week. Looking at Dave Montgomery, he looks sharp. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That was good.
Come on now.
That was
Come
good.
on now.
Looks sharp out there. He does. I'm excited to see David Montgomery back. I don't know what he's going to look like, but knowing David, the dude's just a mauler. So out there, he's going to be making plays. I could see him, honestly. I see a type of game from David today. I'll just mention this before we get to the rest of the offense, where I think the first drive, you're going to see a lot of David, and he's going to look really good on the first drive.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's just going to get like 4 or 5 yards. Pop, pop, pop. They'll probably get him a touchdown. And then I think throughout the game, they might start leaning to Gibbs, depending on how the kind of it looks, I guess, at that point. If you're up like 2-3 scores, then yeah.
I do think there's a sense
rest
of,
that man.
He's been out a little bit, and it's like now you're going to need him for this playoff run, right? Like he's healthy now. He's ready to go. And if you want to prove and you want to make sure he's good to go for the playoffs, you want to put him out there and you want to get him going right away. And I think that's like there's a big sense of like first drive, like get this man rolling. Hey, let him get that knee feeling good. Like make sure he knows what he's going into. So I think David Montgomery is what?
No, nothing. I'm listening.
I was listening.
I just heard a bunch of laughing.
No, just stop talking.
I've got ADHD, boys. I don't know what else to say.
You were preaching, Boone. I love when you were preaching. Go on.
I heard laugh. I thought the people were laughing at me.
No, I kind of giggled because of what I just looked at. I
heard
Jameer.
everyone laughing.
I was looking at it. I was like, I wonder, like.
He was like, squirrel.
Yeah.
I thought I was saying something. You guys were laughing. I thought I was saying something.
No, you weren't doing anything wrong. I just looked. Over the last 4 games, Jahmyr Gibbs has 8 fucking touchdowns, which is insane. I was just looking because if David Montgomery does go on that first drive, which I agree with you, I think David Montgomery starts the game. He's going to chunk up the Washington Commanders defense, fall in the end zone, stop Amon-Ra, J-Mo Laporta, touchdown, 14-0. Why don't you just let Jahmyr Gibbs eat after what you've seen over the last 4 weeks? Man. Where Buffalo, they kind of stonewalled him in the rushing game, but when you look at the receiving game, he had 83 yards. So he's had over 100 plus yards in every game scrimmage-wise. To go with 8 touchdowns against this Commanders defense, Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu, Jeremy Chin, all solid players. Jahmyr Gibbs is just different. So I think let D-Mont find his footing again. He's been out for a little bit. Let him beat up on this Commanders rush defense. Don't keep him out of the game, but I think just continue to lean into what you've been doing the last couple of games. You've had success with it. Jahmyr Gibbs, huge day. Obviously, we want D-Mont to get the rock, but I would much rather see D-Mont have some success. Don't risk any type of injury because you have a back like Jahmyr who can just shred a defense. Let him kind of carry the load. Next week in the NFC Championship game, D-Mont full go, win that game, and he's going to be a huge part of it. But I still think D-Mont has a presence tonight. I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah, I will add this too. I watched a little bit back of that Buccaneers-Commanders game. And you know what they were hitting the Commanders with? Those outside zones. Mm-hmm. Imagine Jahmyr today. Those outside. Bucky got loose on a couple of those.
Especially in the second half when they were already kind of beaten up. That's why I think D-Mont in the first half, use them. I'm not saying preserve them and don't use them at all. But in that second half, let Jahmyr just take it. If Bucky Irving could do it,
he was eating
behind that offensive line. Jahmyr's going to go crazy.
Jahmyr's going to eat tonight.
How many yards all purpose?
For Jahmyr?
100 plus easily.
I would say probably 125, 130.
Yeah, I mean, those outsides, we've seen Jahmyr, destroy teams. They run that play, Jahmyr's gone. Those are the 40-yard touchdown runs he gets.
Yeah.
Bucky's not Jahmyr, but Bucky had success doing it, and the Buccaneers O-line is not the Lions O-line.
Yeah, it's solid.
It's solid, but it's not even this O-line for the Lions, this run blocking is just they're on a different level.
Think outside of the Eagles there's been a team that even with the Eagles, I don't think there's a team that the Commanders have faced that are like this Lions team.
Now maybe the Ravens.
Maybe, but I just think both sides of the ball, with the offense they have, they're one of the best offenses in NFL history. This is something different that they haven't seen yet all year.
No, they haven't. You know what player they haven't seen ever? Dirtbag. Christian Mahogany. Dirtbag.
Come on,
he's going to go out there. I'm telling you, that dude, the keg stand sell. Get him a tud. Let him do the keg stand in Ford Field.
Wild.
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Christian again, man. We got a 1-game sample size. He looked excellent, dude. He looks like a future starting guard. And Scott talked about it yesterday. How even he and Scott, we had him on our show. You can check it out. The video is already posted. You can watch it. How he loved Christian coming out of the draft. This dude's just a mauler, an absolute mauler, and I cannot wait.
They have the word mauler.
They ran the ball well against Chicago, and with Mahogany in there, and they're going to do the same damn thing with Mahogany today.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to miss a beat with Mahogany out there. I think he's going to look good.
I think
great, actually.
And it's not like, if Mahogany goes out there and shits the bed, the Lions lose. But I think what will really be the matchup that will be like, hey, this offense, like I said, I want to see the offense take it to another notch. I know it's been top 5, like Boone just said, in NFL history, but the stakes are more now, okay? And you're going up against a bad defense. Christian Mahogany versus Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne is the matchup that I'm going to be looking at the most, because if that rookie can hold his own against those two, who they're not all pros, but Daron Payne and Jonathan Allen are both multi-time Pro Bowlers. If he can hold his own against them for how long they've been in the league as a rookie in a divisional game, watching him next to Penei Sewell, you're looking at the future, because this Washington Commanders team is going to be around for a long time. So to find a 6th, not a 4th, not a 3rd, not a 2nd, a 6th-round guy that can contribute to be a starting right guard.
That'd be unbelievable.
I mean, what more? We've heard slander, it seems like, so much about Brad Holmes with the Jamison Williams, with the guys that he takes like Ife Melifuanu. I can understand like the Broderick Martins at this point, but when you get Christian Mahogany's, I don't give a damn. Keep doing you, because that's what makes this team sustainable for so long, is a 6th-round pick like Christian Mahogany.
That's what makes Brad so great. It's like, okay, here comes a dude who's a 6th-round pick who's probably going to start for you for the next decade. I mean, that's just how it works. So I mean, finding
those guys.
Yeah, I don't expect a single any dip from him being in there. And I expect this O-line to go out there and just destroy. I mean, that's exactly what I expect. And I respect the Commanders' front 7. I think Dan Quinn, that defense, the top 3 passing defense. But what did Scott bring up on the show on Friday when he broke it down? How many pass attempts are teams attempting against the Commanders? It's not a ton on the season.
Yeah.
Teams are throwing a lot against the Lions because of what? They're up by a bunch and they stop the run. So teams are one-dimensional. You're up by a lot. They have to come from behind. Stats don't tell the full story. The Commanders been in a lot of close games, and they don't have, they're not up there in pass attempts. That's like teams are throwing all over them. They're running all over them.
Yeah.
So, top 3 pass defense statistically for the Commanders. They got some good players.
I mean, there's Commanders fans that are like, I didn't even know that was the thing. Like, I had no clue. Well, I've heard Commanders people like covering the team. Like, I did not know they were a top 3 pass defense. They were like, when they heard
you wouldn't be able to tell.
They
heard
it. And
no,
you
wouldn't be able to tell.
What? That can't be real. Like, check the stats. That's not real. It's like, it probably isn't.
No, I mean they just picked up Marshawn, and he's not quite what he was.
No.
He's
got
solid.
He's hurt.
Yeah,
too.
he's good, but
he's injured at the moment.
They got Michael Davis back. Michael Davis was statistically, speaking of statistics, the worst corner in all of football last year in LA. And now he's like a guy. I thought he was hurt. He was banged up after the game, but he's a guy that's going to be playing a significant amount for him on the outside against Jamison Williams. If you go back and you watch Michael Davis versus the Bengals, there's literally times where he's feet planted in the ground, knees locked, and the Jamar Chase has the ball running right at him. He's just frozen. So you look at that. They got a rookie in Mikey Sanders still, who's very good, but he's probably right now their best all-around defensive back. And who's he going to have to cover? Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, come on, guys. Come on. A solid secondary. Like, honestly, when you look at the corners, I would probably take their situation over Detroit's. But then you look at the safeties, like, there's just not – they don't have a dude. Like, they don't have an absolute guy. So when I look at – that's not the 3rd best secondary in football. Numbers can tell a lot, but context tells it all. So I'm not – like, ooh, the Washington Commanders secondary is 3rd in the NFL. They're stopping Jared Goff. No,
not worried.
Let's relax here. Especially, like, I don't know how many they've played. Like, you want to talk about the Eagles, very good team. Ravens, very good team. Both those guys have mobile quarterbacks. This Commanders defense has not seen a quarterback that if you blitz is going to kill you, and he's not going to move. If you don't blitz him, well, he's going to sit back in the pocket, not move, and go 18 for 18 and walk out of there with a 2-point or 2-possession win margin. Jared Goff, that's why I kind of like having the pocket passer, because NFL teams don't play elite pocket passes anymore. They can play the Derek Carrs, but Jared Goff's a different type of breed when it comes to quarterback. So I think that does make it a little bit more favorable for the Lions having a pocket passing quarterback.
He's gonna throw for 300 yards tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised.
300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's going to go out there and just cut up this defense. And it's because I said it earlier this week, they're going to fill the box up because of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Like, they're going to load the box
how do you
up,
defend this
and
offense?
they're going to sit there and they're going to be like they're going to do everything they can because they kept saying we're the 30th rush defense in the NFL, 30th rush defense. We're going up against these two guys, and they're going to do everything they can to try and stop the run. And Jared Goff to JMO, Jared Goff to Amon-Ra, Jared Goff to Sam Laporta. It's going to be open all day long. And then, okay, you start doing that. Now you got to get out of the box. Guess what? Now we're already up 21-7 on you. Now we're just going to run the ball and the game's over, and we're going to run the clock out because now you can't do both. So that's going to be what happens offensively.
Do you think there's, I don't want to say, I'll just ask you straight up. Do you think you'll see Hendon Hooker at some point in this game?
No.
You think it gets that bad?
No.
No, I'm like,
even if it's 30 points, you're just still rolling with the boys. It's the playoffs. I've never seen, honestly, I don't know if you guys,
I'm trying to think.
I don't think I've ever seen a backup quarterback play in the playoffs. Maybe
like if you're
once
up
or
like,
twice.
Oh, so it'd be Teddy.
Well, Teddy's been the emergency one. They just posted it.
I would put Teddy in this moment.
We got it.
Like if they're up like
Inactives.
34-13 in the fourth quarter, or like 40-13.
I don't think you will ever see backup.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
I don't think.
I just don't think that's going to be a situation.
No, I don't either.
Like,
I've seen some people say in the chat, and I want to know what where you guys were at. If you're going to see a backup quarterback,
it's a good thing to be thinking though that hey, we're in the playoffs and a rookie quarterback could possibly be second year quarterback. And then you get a guy you just picked up who was coaching high school football in Teddy Bridgewater, obviously been around the league, but hey, if those guys could be potentially stepping on the field,
let Teddy get loose.
You're not saying that next week. But
no, I don't think it's going to get to a point.
Be talking about that this week.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to get to a point where they're up that much anyway. I'm just curious where you guys are at. You're confident, so I want to test your confidence. You know, maybe you think it could be a blowout.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game, but I mean, to where you get a backup quarterback playing, I just don't see that in the playoffs.
I think the Commanders it's a playoff game. They're a good team. I think they'll hang in there, and then till they don't, and then the Lions win by 2 or more scores.
I want to throw this up here. The inactives on the screen here. I'm just going to put it up. Let's see. I'm going to take this down real quick. Hold on, boys.
All right, we got the inactives.
Inactives. So obviously, Hendon Hooker, emergency quarterback. Gentry just kind of mentioned that. Mitchell Agude, he was someone who was getting some run a little bit ago. He is inactive today. Giovanni Manu, inactive. Kevin Zeiler, obviously inactive.
Yep.
Colby Sorsdale, inactive. He has been for a while. Pat O'Connor, he was already going to be out, inactive. And then Broderick Martin, even with Pat O'Connor out this week again, no Broderick Martin. Like, that's still a little, like, not shocking to me, but it's still a little like, whoa.
I know. At this point, I'm not even shocked. I remember we talked about it when it started happening. Like, what? And then now it's just, hey, Pat O'Connor's, I think, like, that's the guy. I can't believe I'm saying it. I kind of miss. Like, I don't want. I miss.
He's another like one of those energizer guys out there that's just running around. Hey, potentially he could bring Max Crosby home,
and he does make plays. He goes out there and flies around.
I know dude's recruiting on the side.
Oh,
that's POC, man. That's POC. He recruit Max Crosby. He just makes plays. I mean, he does. He does his job, which that's.
Yeah.
I don't know who. I guess it'd be a mix of guys kind of filling in that void, like maybe like a little bit. At least some Levi, who's been playing better.
Yeah.
Chris Smith.
Chris Smith is the one that I was.
He's the guy
he's
that
just quiet. He's been making some noise.
Miles Adams. Miles Adams has been a guy.
Yeah.
Who's been? He's going to be getting run.
Miles Adams.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been bad. He hasn't made a bunch of plays, but there's been times out there where like, who is that guy? It says Adams.
Isn't that crazy though? Like the line, like the coaching. I mean, like think of it. There's times where we're watching, we're like, who?
He's gonna have a ring.
Taking care of
that
teams.
Boy's gonna have a ring at
no
the end
disrespect
of the
to Miles Adams, but it is crazy. It's like the Lions are favored to win the Super Bowl, and they're doing it with all these injuries. Like. Shout out to the coaching staff. This coaching staff is stacked.
Yeah.
What they're doing is AG, man, with the defense.
Even last week, though, I'm sure that was a great throw. Even last week, like there's guys every week on the defensive side, specifically on the front seven, where we're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like he's trotting out there, but then you see him 2 plays later. He's in there making plays. There's hardly guys that you see sent out there. I would say, to Boone's credit,
incomplete pass.
Jamal Adams is one of them where you see get out there and they're just made looking like a fool. Ben Neiman, Trevor Nowaski, like these guys are like making plays. So it doesn't matter. You put them out there. That's wwhy, again,
they've done it for years now.
Having a coach like Dan Campbell who has a feel on the locker room rather than on 4th down and 2, the analytics tell me we should not go for it. He knows what he's getting out of his guys, and they'll go run through a wall for him. That's why Detroit is just simply different. Put Trevor Nowaski's out there in Baltimore right now. Put him in Kansas City. They're not making plays. I'm sorry, and they're like starting. They're starting. So I like it. I like what Aaron Glenn's doing. Very good. Very fine. Very
Yeah.
elite.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna bring this up.
There we go.
We're gonna say
What?
Trevor Nowaski. There was a stretch there where he's
Playing
making
great
some
football.
plays.
Anzo's back. He doesn't need to anymore, but he still makes them when his number's called.
What if Trevor Nowaski was saving it for this game? Like,
Hey,
what if
The
what if we
juice,
see
the interception, he saved the He's like,
what if
nah,
we
I'm gonna get
just
two.
What if we just see something happen today?
He doesn't get as many snaps as he did before because the Anzo's back and Germ's back.
Who's playing Sam?
Germ.
I mean, he's right. It'll be Germ.
But he'll still
Love
play.
Germ, man. All
Well,
love.
what's going to happen? It's not going to be all
Solid
Germ.
special
It's going to be
teamer.
Germ, Ben Neiman, and Trevor Nowaski.
And
It's going to be a rotation
you're-
of guys. But before it was just Trevor or it was just Ben. Like they were rotating. Now you got a third guy in there. It's a
And you don't
rotating
even
now.
like Brian Branch is at Nichols. You're gonna have one less linebacker.
True.
So
True.
you only really need two of them. I mean, Nowaski's gonna be out there. Like he'll get a couple of.
I mean, yeah.
You'll see him get some run.
in
You'll
week
see
18,
T-Dog
week
get some
18,
run.
he still got almost as many. He's still getting 30 plus snaps. Week
Yeah,
18.
like
Like,
he'll be
getting
out
play.
there.
He's a big piece of this defense.
He's
a
gonna
big piece.
behead Jaden Daniels tonight. You watch. Brian Robinson's going to be trying to run the ball. Who was it with against the Packers? Trevor Nowaski stonewalled Tucker Kraft, and that was my favorite play of the game.
It's just.
I don't think I've said a negative thing in this show.
Boomer,
Shut
up, man.
I might have been the
Stop.
Frank the Tank.
Stop trying to look for
Shout out Frank the
negativity and
Tank.
leave it alone.
He's watched our show for a long time.
Booner's the most positive line I've ever met in my
Frank the
life.
Tank does not read the room well. He reads the room very badly.
I think our friend Frank, I think he may be indulging, which is fine.
Yeah,
you
as
should
he
indulge.
should be.
He
As
does
he
not
should
read
be.
the room well, though. He would probably be
He's-
dad in the draft room.
Yeah, he. I think he's indulging before the game, which good for him. But
I legit, I think I'm the most positive guy.
you don't,
without a
have to.
doubt,
You don't
here.
have to defend that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to like. Wow, we know that.
It makes you look like something you're not. You don't have to defend Boone. Let your work talk for you.
Yeah. By the way, I mean
Well,
this game. By the way, the Chiefs, man. I want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Listen,
I
I don't want to
was
get too
thinking the
ahead.
same
I don't want to
thing,
get
too.
too ahead. I know, look ahead. All
He
that
was
stuff.
wide open. CJ Stroud just missed a wide open.
The
The
Ravens.
Texans have been beating themselves today. I mean, this game's.
Well, the defense of the Chiefs are they're unbelievable defensively. What they are?
I thought you need offense to win a championship, though.
No, I didn't just say that. I didn't say they need the defense. I just said their defense has been good. I didn't say they need it.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just
Defensively,
messing
they've
with
been
you.
good.
Give me the
This guy
Ravens.
just
If I
keeps
could
trying.
pick one, give me the Ravens, man. The Ravens
What's
defensively.
I know the Ravens thing. It's like you think the Ravens are this trash team. The Ravens are going to beat the Bills today.
No,
Or tomorrow.
I don't
Yeah,
think
I
the
was about to
Ravens
say.
are a trash team, but the Ravens, I think, have a little bit of painted pig syndrome. I definitely
Painted
think that.
pig
You
syndrome.
What
paint
is
a pig
that?
to make
I've
it look
never-
a little
have
better
you
than
heard
what
that
it
before?
is.
No, never.
You put paint on a pig to make it look better. You've never
say
heard that?
that.
It's
Painted
painted
pig syndrome.
That's
People
what they
paint
are.
Pigs?
It's an expression, boom.
Never heard of
It's
that.
like it's
I'm
like
expressing myself.
like I
I've
think
never
I
seen
think
a
the
pig get
Ravens are
painted.
the Ravens are a top 6 team in the NFL, but you look at them, it's
Do
like
love a good ham though.
all right, they're a painted ham syndrome. I
Love a
think
good ham.
the,
though.
the,
Ham's
the
pretty good.
Ravens are very
Bacon.
good at running the ball.
Yeah.
But
I'm starting to get hungry, boys. I just want to. Sorry, Klotz.
Yeah, you said ham.
they're a painted pig. We'll
Okay,
put it out
that's
there
fair.
like that.
That's fair.
Can we hit Booner's bets and I'm hungry.
Yeah, did we order this out yet, boys?
No, I don't think we should get pizza. I have something else I think we should order. I'm gonna.
Well, hold on. Well, I actually think this is a good topic from the show. We got like an hour. What?
I was gonna say like some wings, pizza and
Yeah,
wings.
I don't know.
Honestly,
man.
Chat,
Give me
Chat, what are we
some
thinking? If
We
the
can
fellas,
get Za and wings.
That's
We
what
can
I'm
get
saying.
both.
I mean,
So what are you saying? We shouldn't order Za.
What za do we want though?
I don't care. Just I want pepperoni with Parmesan crust
Jets?
topping.
I want pepperoni with Parmesan crust
That's the
topping.
best. That's the
All
best way.
right, little bro. We'll take care of it.
Little bro. Hey,
Oh no! Let's
None of
not
that.
do that.
None
Be
of that.
careful, Frank. The tank's watching.
No, I'm just kidding.
Relax.
Okay, we'll get to Booner's bets. By the way, I did lock in the Booner's lay of the day. It's excellent. Go ahead. Tell
You
the
didn't
people.
change any legs.
No, I didn't change anything. I'll
Thank
show you right
God.
now.
Hey, you got it?
Got what?
See,
Booner's
look at Boone.
bets. Booner's
Wait,
lay of the day.
I haven't put me on. That's
Put it
I,
on.
you
Wait,
haven't. You
yeah,
haven't seen.
locked
I've
in.
been watching my FanDuel. I just hit it.
Is it locked in?
Oh,
Caleb?
I'm just kidding.
Locked in.
I'm gonna start shit with Mike ever since that one time he didn't put it in. All right, what do we got? Booner's bets.
I've got two things today. I'm not doing anything crazy.
All
I do
right.
want to enjoy this game. We have the Booners lay of the day, and we got the legacy player.
All right.
Two plays. Well, more than two with the legacy player. First one, all right, boys. Are you guys ready? Actually, I'll do a straight bet.
I can confirm.
A straight bet. What's so funny? I see you looking at. I'm talking about my bets. You're laughing.
Yeah, he doesn't believe in him.
That's
I
what
think he's
I'm sorry to question you.
He's putting the wizard hat on with your hat.
No. I love the bets. I want to know when you get to it, your legacy player. I'm excited for today.
What are we smiling about? Are you smiling about my legacy?
No,
player?
I have nothing. I don't know.
Nothing.
No. I don't want to distract you.
You see this? Oh, fuck.
Go on,
All
talk to me. What do you got?
All right. Here we go. First off, I want to do this. Take Detroit Lions team total, boys, 31.5 or 32.5. Over 32.5. Take it. They're scoring 5 touchdowns today. That's going to hit. That's a single lay for you guys. Oh my gosh, CJ Stroud just got destroyed. They probably should. Sorry, I'm distracted. They better kick a field goal here. You kick a field goal, make it one possession. You kick a field goal, one possession game, and then you go and try and get a stop.
Davis Mills coming in for him.
You have to try and get a field goal and go one possession. If DeMeco Ryans doesn't do that, he'll never go on a playoff run. That's just a fact.
This guy today is just bouncing out.
George Kalafdis is
Booner is just all over the place right now.
I'm hungry.
Booner's bets. All right. Detroit Lions team total, take that. You know what, Klotz? I'll add it in. I probably won't bet it, but I'll add it in for the people. Terrion Arnold interception. People, put it on. I'm not putting it on, but I'm telling the people, do it. And I've been pretty good with the interception bets. Take the Terrion interception. Plus
we knew this day would come.
We've won.
Plus 750. That is me being a teammate. I don't do it for Dan Campbell. I'll do it for the boys. All right. Booner's lay of the day here, boys. Hey, what did I say? Coach Booner. Never wrong. All right. 6-leg parlay plus 657. Oh my gosh, it got blocked. Game over. Chiefs win.
The black magic strikes again, bro. There's some voodoo magic hovering over Arrowhead Stadium. The amount of game swing. Hey, great for the spread, by the way, Caleb. The pick that puts me in 4.
Go, Coach.
Booner's line of the day. Let's lock in. That was on me. 6-leg parlay plus. I just got locked out. This is a disaster. Never been more.
This show stinks. This show stinks. Go ahead.
All right. 6-leg plus 657. First one. Ready, boys?
Yep.
Ready?
Detroit Lions money line. Like that?
I mean,
love it.
Yeah.
What were the odds on that?
Plus 657. Detroit Lions money line.
Gosh.
Second leg. Detroit Lions team total alternate 30.5. That's 4 touchdowns and 1 field goal.
I love that.
4 touchdowns, 1 field goal. Third leg. Sam Laporta 40 yards.
Okay.
Man shows up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Sam Laporta 40 yards.
I said, yeah.
Fourth one. Jared Goff 225 passing yards today.
That's a gimme.
225. Love that one. Fifth one. Jamison Williams 50 yards today.
That's a catch.
1 big catch, and he's going to get 4 or 5 catches today.
He'll get.
And last one, guys. This is where you have to play that. You have to play the game, right? You have to play the game. Hey, what's going to happen? This one is an Alliance prop. It's a Commanders prop, and it's only because it adds money to the parlay.
During the yachts.
Jaden, don't do that.
Hey, no. Here's the
Jaden Daniels, 40 rushing yards.
You think that ain't going to happen?
It is a lock. It's going to happen. Jaden Daniels, 40. It changes it a little bit, so we don't have everything on the Lions yards. You kind of get a little bit of sprinkle with some more money there. So Jaden Daniels, 40 rushing yards. Jared Goff, 225. JMO, 50. Sam Laporta, 40. Over. Team total over. Detroit Lions 30.5 points in Detroit Lions money line. That's plus 657. How do you guys like that?
I love it. Yeah, I took it. I love all the legs. Honestly.
Love it. All right, and then Booner's legacy player. Are you boys ready?
I am.
Oh, who is it? Hold on.
This man dominated in the playoffs last year. Over the last 4 or 5 weeks, this man has gotten back
I have a suspicion.
in his bag. He has gone out there and he has said, this is why I'm an all-pro player. This is why I was an all-pro last year.
Yep,
Maybe I didn't get it this year, but I still am going to play at the highest of levels when my number's called. This man shows up in the biggest games, and he has been playing his best football of his career, in my opinion. And I know he doesn't have the yards and all that to go for it, but I think when you see what he's doing on the field, he's playing some of his best football he has since he's been drafted. Sam Laporta, legacy player.
I love it. That's a good
over
one.
46.5 yards, anytime touchdown, and over 4.5 receptions. Sam Laporta. Is there confetti on the field right now? I don't think they're supposed to do that in the divisional. I think they accidentally messed up and let that go. I think that was on accident. You don't do confetti.
Yeah, but why would you have it already in there?
Maybe someone just thought.
I think they know that they're not hosting the Lombardi this year, Boone. Use the
But
They're
confetti.
doing it for
game.
Andy. He just passed for fourth coach in NFL history, 300 wins.
Shout out,
I
Andy.
don't know if it's just that's crazy. But that's it. Sam Laporta, legacy player of the game.
Can you read it
today.
off one more time, Boone? Because I'm going
Which
to live
one?
boost it when the Sam Laporta, what the lines
Sam
and
Laporta
everything.
over 46.5 yards.
Okay.
Sam Laporta anytime touchdown. And I did an alternate Sam Laporta 4 receptions. And I
Okay.
got that. That's the legacy player of the
There
day.
you go.
All right, it's gonna be
Everything,
locked in.
everything on Sam Laporta today.
Sammy, he's balling today. I'm with you.
Lapots,
He's gonna be the
Lapots.
check down machine, dude. He's gonna and yards after catch. He's always good at that. So.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get the yards today. I love the yards for Sam
Legacy
Laporta.
player Sam Laporta. You got the Booners lay of the day. Cash it in. It's already locked in for me. We'll be cheering it on for the game. Lions victory. And I love how you got a Lions victory in there. It just makes it even sweeter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even at minus 600, which is a crazy.
But, yeah,
that is
for the love of the
crazy.
game.
For the love of the
You
game.
got to.
Minus 460.
Oh, that's. I mean,
Yeah, that helps
I'll
it
say
a little
that's awesome.
Helps it out a little bit. Man. Come on now.
All right, let's get to score predictions. Talk to me, fellas, because I said on Friday I think the Lions cover this game. I don't know if the spread's still 9.5, right? So where it's still at.
I think it went
Uh,
down.
It
Let me
did
check.
it.
Let me check.
I mean, if it's down, I'll
I know
take
it went
it.
down.
8.5.
Yeah,
Oh,
8.5
give me
now.
that.
Yep,
Give me
yep.
that. Lions are going to win by 10 points at the minimum. Lions will win 34-24. Detroit Lions walk out with victory, and they cover.
Yeah, I'll make this short. I'll make it sweet. I've been very consistent. No, I haven't seen a punter around the back of the end zone.
Oh. What's
Like
the
I
spread?
said,
9.5? Bang! 9.5 for the pick'em. 9.5 for the pick'em because of the
that's a
safety.
disaster.
Let's go,
That's a
Caleb!
disaster.
What?
I think it was 9.
That's a disaster.
Oh, that's why you don't celebrate early. That's why you don't celebrate.
Let me
early.
check.
He was giving me
What
looks.
kind of dumb shit is that?
Oh, it's 8.5.
Oh,
come
that's
on.
why you don't celebrate early, Caleb. That's why. You took the Texans to cover against the Chiefs
That's
in
on
Arrowhead,
me.
Alabama, and
You
he took the
scared me. You
Ravens.
scared me
That was
right
on
there.
Come on
me.
now.
Hey,
Needed that.
Hey,
We saw
Mike.
the score there.
Mike.
Oh, man,
Well,
my
he didn't
voice is...
send picks, so
Hey,
you
Mike.
can't catch up to him.
I'm on the ass. I'm second place, baby.
Like back
Check it.
pockets. Like back pockets.
Like
It
back
needs to-
pockets.
Yeah, come on.
Oh,
I'm on
my
your ass like back
gosh.
pockets.
I just pinched a nerve in
Caleb,
my
I'm
neck, boys.
sorry.
Fuck.
Hey,
Give
score
me, I'll make
prediction.
it sweet.
Yeah.
dude.
Short, make it sweet. Especially because pulled a nerve. Lions 31. They clear 30. The Commanders, they struggle in the red zone. They're going to clear the spread.
tough.
Lions 31. Commanders 20. I'm going to stick with it. Sorry, boys, but 11-point win for the boys. Going on the division or the championship game.
Boys, I've been
Fuck.
saying it for a couple weeks now. What's been the new mantra for the Detroit Lions that I made a couple weeks ago?
Jobs
Nah.
not finished.
It starts today, boys. The Detroit Lions are 3 wins away from winning the Lombardi Trophy. 1 win tonight. You host an NFC Championship game in Detroit. I don't care who it's versus. You're winning the football game to go to the Super Bowl. The job is not finished of what you had going into this season. You know how you had one end goal. I don't care about winning the NFC North. I don't care about the 1 seed.
Yep.
I don't care about anything else. The only thing I care about is winning the NFC,
That's
winning
it.
the Super Bowl. That is all that matters. The job is not finished. Today, the Detroit Lions win 38-24. They win by 2 touchdowns,
Like that
and they
one.
go and finish the job today. They'll be
14.
playing next Sunday night versus the winner of the Eagles-Rams, and they're going to go to a Super Bowl next Sunday night. So, boys,
There
38-24
you
Lions.
go.
Let's
Hey,
go.
appreciate all you. Get your merch. We're wearing it new. Kings of the North.
Come on, though.
Merchandise live on the shop. We got ours on. We also have the NFC North.
Look at this. It's beautiful. You
I mean,
can't
the
see
winners.
it.
Look at that.
Look
Beauty.
at this. We got in gray, got in black,
talk
got
to
in
'em.
white.
Talk
we
to
got
'em.
hats on the site. There's a lot of beautiful lines.
Head over there. Check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate you all. We'll be live for the watch party when the game starts.
Yep.
As soon as the game starts, come back here. Or you can go hang out. It's already up the stream, so you can chill there until it starts. Appreciate all you. And we'll see you in
See you in
about
a
30
bit.
minutes. Oh,
Peace.